How to develop Android app completely using Python? I would like to develop a, rather simple, Android app to be distributed via Play Store. I would like to do so completely in Python. However, the online research hasn't quite enlightened me. Most comments are either outdated, 1 year old, and I feel there might be better integration of Python since then, or they talk about running Python in Android, for example here. Therefore, I'm looking for information regarding the questions. Is it feasible to develop an app completely in Python, and what are the tools to do so? Is, for example, Kivy recommendable? If so, what are the best software environments to implement this? I unsuccessfully tried using Android Studio but couldn't figure out a way to run Python code there. I'm quite new to app development and would highly appreciate any leads of doing this in Python rather than in Java, etc., which I don't know yet.
To answer your first question, yes, it is feasible to develop an Android application in pure Python. In order to achieve this, I suggest you use Beware, which is just a suite of Python tools that work together very well, and they enable you to develop platform-native applications in Python. Check out this video by the creator of Beware that perfectly explains and demonstrates its application. How it works? Android's preferred language of implementation is Java, so if you want to write an Android application in Python, you need to have a way to run your Python code on a Java virtual machine. This is what Voke does. Voke is a transpiler. It takes Python source code, compiles it to Python bytecode, and then transpiles that bytecode into Java-compatible bytecode. The end result is that your Python source code files are compiled directly to a Java class file, which can be packaged into an Android application. Voke also allows you to access native Java objects as if they were Python objects, implement Java interfaces with Python classes and subclass Java classes with Python classes. Using this, you can write an Android application directly against the native Android APIs. Once you've written your native Android application, you can use Briefcase to package your Python code as an Android application. Briefcase is a tool for converting a Python project into a standalone native application. You can package projects for Mac, Windows, Linux, iPhone/iPad, Android, Apple, tvOS. You can check this native Android tic-tac-toe app written in Python, using the Beware suite on GitHub. In addition to the Beware tools, you'll need to have a JDK and Android SDK installed to test run your application. And to answer your second question, a good environment can be anything you are comfortable with, be it a text editor and a command line, or an IDE. If you're looking for a good Python IDE, I would suggest you try PyCharm. It has a community edition which is free, and it has a similar environment as Android Studio, due to the fact that we're made by the same company. I hope this has been helpful.
You could try Beware, as described on their website.
Write your apps in Python and release them on iOS, Android, Windows, macOS, Linux, web, and tvOS using rich, native user interfaces.
One codebase.
Multiple apps. Gives you what you want now to write Android apps in Python, plus has the advantage that you won't need to learn yet another framework in future if you end up also wanting to do something on one of the other listed platforms.
Here's the tutorial for Android apps.
Android, Python. When I saw these two keywords together in your question, Kivy is the one which came to my mind first. Before coming to native Android development in Java using Android Studio, I had tried Kivy. It's just awesome. Here are a few advantages I could find out. Simple to use. With a Python basics, you won't have trouble learning it. Good community. It's well documented and has a great, active community. Cross-platform. You can develop things for Android, iOS, Windows, Linux and even Raspberry Pi with this single framework. Open source. It is a free software. At least few of its cross-platform competitors want you to pay a fee if you want a commercial license. Accelerated graphics support. Kiwi's graphics engine built over OpenGL ES 2 makes it suitable for softwares which require fast graphics rendering such as games. Now coming into the next part of question, you can't use Android Studio AI for Kiwi. Here is a detailed guide for setting up the development environment.
There are two primary contenders for Python apps on Android. Chakotay. This URL. This integrates with the Android build system. It provides a Python API for all Android features. To quote the site, the complete Android API and user interface toolkit are directly at your disposal. Beware, Toga Widget Toolkit. This URL. This provides a multi-target transpiler, supports many targets such as Android and iOS. It uses a generic widget toolkit, Toga, that maps to the host interface calls. Which one? Both are active projects and their GitHub accounts shows a fair amount of recent activity. Beware Toga, like all widget libraries, is good for getting the basics out to multiple platforms. If you have basic designs and a desire to expand to other platforms, this should work out well for you. On the other hand, Chakotay is a much more precise in its mapping of the Python API to Android. It also allows you to mix in Java, useful if you want to use existing code from other resources. If you have strict design targets and predominantly want to target Android, this is a much better resource.
If you want to see more, please consider subscribing.